Right. So when I first got this interview and started digging into DY6 Metals, I have to admit, I stumbled across rutile. Now, we talk a lot about the usual commodities like gold, copper, and nickel, but rutile actually really caught my attention. It's not something that you hear about every day, yet when I looked a little bit deeper, I realized how important this actually is, and that some companies in this space have already delivered some very strong returns. And in adding to that, DY6 projects in places like Cameroon and Malawi, I couldn't help but get curious. So today I'm really looking forward to learning more about what rutile is, why it matters, and how DY6 is positioning itself in this exciting, lesser known part of the critical minerals sector. And today we have Cliff Fitzhenry here, the CEO, with us. Hi Cliff, how are you?
Hi, Gia. Yeah, fine and you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Cliff, look, just for a bit of context, you're currently
Yeah,
based in South Africa, is that right?
that's correct. Yeah.
Excellent. And could you help us understand, start off with a quick overview about DY6 Metals and the company's main focus across its African projects?
Yeah, thanks. So DY6 Metals is an ASX listed junior exploration company.
Mm-hmm,
We're a multi-jurisdictional African focused critical metals explorer.
mm-hmm,
The company IPO'd on the ASX in mid 2023 on the back of a portfolio of Malawian rare earth elements projects. And then earlier this year, we've done a deal to go into Cameroon where we've acquired a portfolio of heavy mineral sands and rutile projects. So that's very much the focus at the moment. We've got the two projects in Cameroon, the
yes.
Central Rutile Project, which is very much the flagship project at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and the Douala Basin Heavy Mineral Sands Project.
Excellent. Now, look, rutile is described as the purest and most valuable form of titanium. Why is this such a critical mineral, and how is DY6 positioning itself to capture this opportunity?
Yeah, so rutile is the sort of king of titanium feedstock minerals.
Mm-hmm.
It's up around 95% titanium dioxide, so it's the highest purity form of naturally occurring titanium.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare it to other titanium minerals such as ilmenite, which is between 40 and 60% titanium. And the big difference is that you need to do a very costly and carbon intensive upgrading process when you take ilmenite and convert it to synthetic rutile. So yeah, when you're looking for things like natural rutile, it's the highest purity form of titanium. Titanium is critical for a number of sectors.
Mm-hmm.
Boring industries such as paints, pigments, and plastics, but also a number of future-facing industries where the titanium metal is used in aerospace and biomedical industries, and a number of fast-growing industries as well. And yeah, rutile is pretty scarce. It's uh, you know a lot more scarcely found than minerals such as ilmenite, and
Okay.
there's not that many rutile pure deposits out there. So yeah, it's pretty critical in that respect.
And just off topic, so has DY6 always been concentrated into rutile from its inception?
No, so we did the IPO in mid 2023 on the back of the Malawian rare earth elements projects in Malawi. And then we went into Cameroon and we acquired the heavy mineral sands and the rutile projects earlier this year in May. So it's been a very busy few months,
Mm-hmm.
but that's very much the focus. So we've always been focused on African critical metals opportunities, and rutile is very much part of that now. So that's very much the focus for the company at the moment.
Thank you. Now, look, your Central Rutile project covers nearly 6,000 square kilometres. I mean, what makes this stand out and comparable to tier one deposits like Sovereign Metals, Cassia?
Yeah, so I was part of the Sovereign Metals team that's discovered Cassia, and we took it to maiden MRE,
Mm-hmm.
and it's currently at 1.8 billion tons, just over 1% rutile, so very much a tier one rutile and graphites deposit.
Okay.
Um, Everything that we see in central Cameroon has all the indications to host similar Cassia type deposits in Cameroon. It's got the right bedrock geology, and the right in situ deep weathering profile. And everything we see, it's certainly got the right ingredients to host these type of deposits.
Mm-hmm.
We've always known that rutile occurred in the river systems there, so in alluvial deposits.
Yep.
There was a lot of evidence of historic alluvial mining of rutile. And yeah, we very much focused on discovering residual rutile deposits in Cameroon, and we're very confident that these high quality deposits exist there.
Excellent. And so I want to just reconfirm. So the grade and the size does make this a tier 1 deposit for you.
Well, we still are very much in early stage exploration. So we've just gotten boots on the ground. We're setting up in country. We've done a bit of reconnaissance work on our licenses. And we've taken a few samples. We released some very initial stage results last week, where we've confirmed that we've basically validated the geological model. You confirmed that there is residual rutile in the areas that we're looking. We did get some high grade rutile mineralisation, so up 1.57% and 2.1% over a meter in our very shallow auger drilling that we did. So it's confirmed that this mineral does exist there in the form that we're looking at. But we still need to do proper systematic exploration, and it's still early days, but we're very confident that the exploration work that we're going to do is going to uncover something of significance.
Thank you. Look, the first sampling confirmed high-grade rutile. What were the key results, and what do you suggest about the project's next scale and potential?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, this was very early stage reconnaissance sampling, so non-targeted, non-systematic. It was very much initial boots on the ground that we took these samples. It was a mix of samples, so very shallow auger drilling and roadside cutting channel samples. And we had a number of samples which were above 0.7%, which is minable ore grade rutile. And we had a couple ultra high grade rutile numbers in there. So, and we also confirmed evidence of rutile mineralization of a very large strike length, 41 kilometers. So we've confirmed that there is residual rutile there. We've validated the geological model. And the next steps are we're coming up to about 50% way through a project-wide soil sampling campaign. So we're going to be using those results to define the high-grade rutile anomalies on the project. And that's going to direct our maiden proper auger drilling campaign, which will happen in the next few months.
Sure. And look, we spoke off camera. I mean, you're so optimistic about this project. You've actually decided that's why you relocated from Australia back to South Africa to be closer to the projects. Can you elaborate a bit more about this?
No, 100%. So it's a very exciting time. I was part of the vendor group of these projects in Cameroon. So using my experience and my sort of geological knowledge, we pegged these licenses in Cameroon with my two business partners, including in-country partner in Cameroon. So we're very positive about these licenses and the potential that they hold. Yeah, I'm now based in South Africa, so same time zone plus 1 hour from Cameroon. And it's easy for communication and managing activities in country. Yeah, and I think it's a very exciting time for the country. We've moved very fast. We've been very aggressive in country. We've picked up more ground, and we're basically setting up a strong foundation in country, so we'll be able to do our own in-house drilling as well as in-house sample processing with the mineral sands laboratory that we'll be setting up.
Sure. And look, what are the next exploration steps at Central Rutile and the Douala Basin, and what milestones should investors be watching over the next year with you?
Yeah, so the first thing is the licenses are currently in valid application stage. So we are going through a process with our in-country partner at the moment to have those licenses granted. It's very much a formal, transparent process, which happens through a mining committee, a newly formed mining committee in Cameroon. So we're expecting those licenses to be granted in the next few weeks. But we've already hit the ground on these licenses. And we're setting up in country, we're setting up a strong foundation in country. We've ordered our own heavy duty hand auger equipment from Australia, which will enable us to drill nice deep holes. And we are setting up our own mineral sands laboratory. So we've secured a warehouse. We've got the lease on that warehouse. We've got the laboratory equipment been sent up from South Africa. So that'll enable us to drill using our own in-house teams, and then also to be able to process all of our samples in our own laboratory, which will save on time and costs. And we're very optimistic about the next few months ahead and unlocking the potential of these projects.
Thank you. And look, so when we're talking about the next few months, what type of news flow could we expect in, let's say, between now and the end of the year? And in fact, I hear something special is happening at the business right now.
Yeah, 100%. So, like I mentioned, when we did this first deal to go into Cameroon in May of this year, we saw a huge opportunity and a very exciting opportunity in country. Essentially, we see the central part of Cameroon as a emerging, globally significant rutile province. So we moved very aggressively with our in-country partners to secure as much ground as possible, the correct ground with the right indicators, so the correct geology, and all the other correct indicators to target these type of deposits. We've added to our ground. We did a subsequent deal. I then joined the company as a technical consultant. Following that, I then joined as CEO. We did a $4.5 million capital raise. But yeah, very happy to just conclude another acquisition for the Yaoundé West project area. Now, this was a highly contested project area in Cameroon. It's something we've been working on for a while now. It's, like I mentioned, very competitive process. It ticks a number of boxes for us. Technically, this area was the sort of ground zero for residual rutile mining in Cameroon historically. The BRGM mapped a very high-grade residual rutile zone running through these licenses. We've been on the ground. I've been on the ground. I've seen all the correct indicators to make that I'm very confident that this area is very prospective for residual rutile. So yeah, that's taken our project portfolio up to just under 9,000 kilometers squared. And we think, in terms of logistics as well, it's within 200 kilometers of the deep water ports of Douala. It's on rail and very close to Yaoundé itself. So it's essentially the cherry on the cake for us in this. We think it makes our Central Rutile project a world-class project. It's a dominant landholding in the province. And it's something which we're very excited to explore. And like I mentioned, we're setting up all the foundations now in the country. So we'll be able to get on the ground and be able to drill all these licenses out very quickly.
Thank you very much. Look, alongside Rutile, you also have 3 REE projects in Malawi. How do these complement DY6 broader critical minerals strategy?
Yeah, so DY6 IPO'd on the back of these rare earth elements projects in Malawi in mid-2023. There has been some historic drilling on especially the Tundulu project. We've also done a bit of our own drilling and exploration on these licenses in the last couple of years. And we've just announced this week as well that we'll be doing a low-cost, high-impact exploration program on the 2 projects, the Machinga and the Tundulu projects. We also have the Salambidwe project in Malawi. So we believe they are very prospective. There's all the key indicators as well. We've got some historic high-grade gallium numbers on the Tundulu project. So this work that we've just started now in country will be following up on those high-grade numbers, which we reported on in the past. But we are looking at our options for these projects. So we do have a number of companies in the data room at the moment, and we'll be assessing our options. The focus is very much on Cameroon and the Rutile project at the moment.
Thank you. And now let's talk about money. What does your cash position look like currently? And I understand your last placement, which you spoke about earlier, was done with actually at no discount on the share price. That's actually quite rare for like a small cap explorer. Can you talk us through that and why you were so bullish?
Yeah, 100%. So we raised $4.6 million mid-July, a joint raise through Evolution Capital in Sydney and Euros Hartleys out of Perth. It was done at market, so no discount. Which was extremely positive sign for the company. And yeah, it's simply because we believe we've got a really strong portfolio of projects and we believe in our rutile projects in Cameroon. So we still have circa around $4.5 million in the bank. And that means we cashed up for the next 12 months at least. So we are setting up in country. We're building our own mineral sands lab. We've ordered our own auguring equipment, and we're building the Cameroonian team. We've just recently appointed a country manager for Cameroon. So we're setting a strong foundation in Cameroon. And this exploration is quite low cost, especially if you've got your own in-house equipment. And with your own mineral sands lab, you'll be able to process all your samples in country, which is also allows you to get quick, cheap assays. So yeah, we're very, very positive about the next few months ahead.
Thank you. And look, investors can sometimes view countries like Cameroon and Malawi as like higher risk jurisdictions. What would you say to our investors and our viewers to reassure those concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent my entire plus 20-year exploration career in Africa, working throughout a number of different countries, and yeah, I'm very comfortable working in both Malawi and Cameroon.
Yep.
Both are very, very stable countries. Both countries are actually entering into an election period at the moment, and are both on new emerging mining jurisdictions. So they've had no real, strong history of mining. But if you look at Malawi, there are a couple of projects which have been advanced and are being strongly supported by the government. You've obviously got Sovereign Metals Cassia project, which is now at DFS stage, and Rio Tinto have invested in that project. And in Cameroon, you've got a country which is really pushing its mining industry. It's a very early stage mining history, but they've taken a number of steps to really promote Western investment into their mining and exploration sector. So far, it's looking really positive and an exciting time to be in Cameroon.
Thank you. Now, look, compared to peers like Sovereign Metals, DY6 market cap is still quite modest. I mean, what catalyst do you see that could really drive a re-rating of your company?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Sovereign Metals are a lot more advanced than us. They currently at the DFS stage. They've got a very large resource, which they're working on. We are still early stage exploration. So essentially, it's just continuing as we are. So the first step would be getting our licenses granted. So that's the major de-risker for us at the moment.
Yep.
And then, yeah, we'll be just heading hard, in terms of our exploration program. So we are almost 50% through our project-wide soil sampling campaign at the Central Rutile Project. And that's going to help align us and direct us in terms of our first maiden drilling campaign. And yeah, once we've got our drilling equipment, in country, and we've got our mineral sands lab up and running, which will be in the next couple months, we'll be able to do very cheap, low-cost, high-impact exploration in Cameroon. So yeah, a very exciting time over the next few months. And I think with those exploration results, we'll see a re-rating in our share price as well.
Thank you. And look, you've mentioned strong local and government support in both Cameroon and Malawi. I mean, how important is that community engagement to DY6 long-term success?
Yeah, I know it's critical, and that's critical for success if you're operating in Africa. So both from a community level, when you do exploration on the ground, right up through to government level, and yeah, we've got strong in-country partners as well who facilitate those relationships. So it's a big thing for us, and we are always making sure that we're on the front foot in terms of ESG and community relations. So we're certainly a responsible junior explorer. And we make sure we do things correctly. So, yeah, I think it's a key thing for us operating in Africa.
Thank you. Help me understand, Cliff, for people who may not be aware, can you explain a bit more about your professional history and your academic pedigree and what makes you so unique that you're here to drive DY6 forward?
Yeah, so I mean, my history, I'm a South African exploration geologist. Plus 20 years mineral exploration experience throughout Africa, plus 2 years in Saudi Arabia doing gold exploration. So I've worked throughout the continents. I fully understand the risks and the challenges that go with doing exploration in Africa. There's a lot of logistics involved. And yeah, I fully understand all of those things. And I've got the sort of track record to back myself on that. Like I mentioned, my big sort of success was being involved with the Sovereign Metals team on the ground in Cassia and Malawi. So it was great being able to deliver that project, and that's a tier 1 world-class project. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're aiming to replicate in Cameroon. So yeah, through my geological knowledge, we are aiming to replicate everything on the ground there, and I know how to operate in these countries. And it's about building a strong local workforce, having strong relationships with governments and our local stakeholders, and then do an effective exploration, which is what we're aiming to do.
Thank you. Now, finally, what's the big picture vision for DY6 Metals over the next few years, and what message would you like to leave for potential investors who are thinking about rotating into rutile as well?
Yeah, so I think there's huge upsides in our share price and our stock. But as a company, we're very much focused on rutile and the Central Rutile Project. We think it's a world-class opportunity for us. We've got a huge land holding in Cameroon with all the right criteria and ingredients to make discoveries and to target residual rutile. So I think the big thing for us is to do low-cost, high-impact exploration and essentially make a discovery, and drill that out and define a maiden resource on those projects.
Thank you. Now, Cliff, if any of our viewers, members or investors have any questions, I'll get them to email us info@eastcoastresearch.com.au or info@sharesinvalue.com.au, and I'll forward them on to your team to revert back. Is that okay?
Perfect. That's 100%. Yeah.
Excellent. And maybe I'll see you in 6 months' time again.
Perfect. That'll be great. Yeah, I'd love to update you on our progress.
Thank you.